think we might have done it. 90 days ago, I found out I was playing in the Sidemen charity football match, but I was the most out of shape I've ever been in my life. So I changed how I eat, I changed how I exercise, and I've used every single gadget I could possibly find that claims to upgrade your life. So here's how it's gone, and I'm gonna rank exactly how effective each of these tools has been in transforming my body. So when I started this challenge at 84.6 kg, one thing became immediately obvious to me. Losing weight the way that I'd originally planned is miserable. I thought coming into this that motivation alone would be enough to carry me through dinner plates full of plain meat and vegetables, carrot sticks with some hummus as my little treat, and a glass of water being the only thing that could enter my body after 6 p.m. What I've learned is you can make it easier for yourself, and you actually have to make it easier for yourself if it's got any chance of working. No offense to carrot sticks. For instance, one product that became a very early game changer for me is the Ninja Creamy. I put it all the way up at A tier because it means I'll literally just make a protein shake, but then instead of chugging it on the spot, I'll freeze it so that the next day I can whack it into the Creamy and it turns it into a full tub of ice cream that genuinely feels like a treat, that takes me a full 15 minutes to eat as opposed to the 15 seconds that it would take me to down it in drink form. Not to brag. And this entire tub is 200 calories. They're so good. I shouldn't have done that, but that's tasty. But the thing that blows my mind is you have one of these tubs, that's 1,100 calories. So, assisted by the power of a few very simple diet substitutions, my weight was flying off at a rate that I've never experienced before. But the other place that I made a big shift early on was activity. For me to lose as much weight as I wanted to, I knew that I had to be burning 1,000 calories per day from movement. But just like with the food, the only way to make new habits that you'll actually stick to is to make them fun.
It is 11:20 at night. I am on the treadmill. Am I tired? Yes. Am I bored? No.
And that's not because I've turned into some sort of fitness-maxing psychopath. I just gave myself one simple rule. I can play as many games as I want, on my phone, on my Switch, as long as I'm doing it while getting my steps in. Also, every time I die in the game, I have to turn the speed up. That helps.
It's incredible. Time just disappears when you're on this thing.
So, I cannot overstate how goated a treadmill is if you can get access to one. It's an S tier. Because yes, you can walk outside. I did plenty of that too, when the opportunities presented themselves. But compared to the 200 calories that you burn doing that for an hour, it's hard to argue with the just over 400 that I've been burning walking on the consistent incline that one of these creates. Now you might be thinking, well, 400 calories is fantastic, Aaron, well done. But even then, how on earth are you managing to get to 1,000 in a day? Well, one of the biggest things that surprised me was just how naturally the rest of it can just come if you take smaller opportunities to be a little more active.
Trisha's craving a sandwich, so kill two birds with one stone and actually run to get the sandwich.
There's also the wellness ball and the underdesk elliptical. They haven't ended up as game changers. I worked out that it takes about an hour of this half-hearted passive exercise to burn the calories that you can in like 8 minutes of intense exercise. But then again, if you can trick yourself into thinking it's powering your computer monitor or something, and you don't mind the discomfort, then it's still something. I'd slap them both into B tier. And then probably the best subtle change that I made was to just buy an indoor football. I sound like a child, but it's insane how just having a ball to kick around right in front of me all the time was enough to make me actually want to get up after my meals each day, as opposed to carrying on sitting and having a chat. So with just a few tiny habit adjustments like this, combined with about an hour of proper focused exercise a day, sometimes treadmill, sometimes football, sometimes weight training too, because it was super important to me when cutting to not lose muscle, I have been every single day, I would say easily hitting over 1,000 calories burned. And any days where I pushed myself a little harder, that figure only went higher.
Still pinchable. Not by much. You can't get a handful anymore.
Now, not everything that I tried during this journey was a success, mind you. Like the Woodja mat. They said that if I connected up my earphones and listened to some music while lying down on this, that it would vibrate in tune with that music and send me into an extremely restorative slumber. But they forgot to mention the fairly important detail that this is what it sounds like to the confused wife trying to sleep next to you. To be fair, it is an amazing experience for the user. Probably the most fun I've ever had listening to music. It just didn't help my sleep.
Our sleep.
Our sleep, yes. The Luminette glasses were better.
So I've just got up, it's 7:45 a.m. and usually I'm like morning groggy for about 20 minutes. Let's see if this can speed that up. You know what? It's been 4 minutes. I actually do feel very awake.
They're actually so bright first thing in the morning that you can't not be woken up. It's just, I never felt that wake up translate to a better sleep, like the things promised it would, so beat it. In fact, the funny thing about sleep is there's an entire industry of stuff that is purely focused on helping you sleep better, right? There's multivitamins, there's gummies, there's pillow sprays. There's so much tech. And I feel like I've tried it all this last 3 months, trying to get my sleep score up to the mythical 100 out of 100. But what I realized is I had it the wrong way around. I was so focused coming into this on fixing my sleep, thinking that that was the center of everything, and if I fixed it, everything else in my life would fall into place, that I missed how, if I instead focused on the other things, that great sleep was a result. And I actually achieved this, by the way. When I started this challenge, my sleep was averaging 76 out of 100. This is my sleep now. It's 100, 197, and I'm achieving that with very minimal products. I stopped using the vibrating mat. I stopped using the Luminette glasses. I was testing this headband that was meant to help me sleep faster. Even things like this essential oil mix that you're meant to dab onto your skin before going to bed. It does smell good, but none of it has made any measurable difference. Here's what really helped. 1, losing weight, because it stopped my snoring. This wedge pillow I tried at the start did also help, but I see this as a temporary solution because it's just so damn uncomfortable. But cutting fat, that works. Pretty much the day after I got myself under 80 kilograms, the snoring stopped automatically, like magic. And to be honest, the snoring was just a bonus. I was excited enough that day.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. 79. I broke the 79 barrier. I just realized I can see it on my face.
The second thing is eating well and not eating too late. This genuinely feels like it has calmed my body from the inside out. And then 3 is becoming fitter, which has allowed my resting heart rate to come way, way down. I actually can't believe I'm saying this, but mine has dropped all the way down from 53 beats per minute while sleeping to 39, which means my body does not have to work very hard when it's at rest. And I guess it's all being slightly assisted by things like a nasal spray. This stops me getting congested, and then the 8-sleep bed. Just because being able to control temperature increases the likelihood that you're gonna sleep through the night. I could tell things were working by the simple fact that in just the first 50 days, I'd lost more weight than I had in the entire 100 days of my previous transformation a few years ago. I had already become the lightest I have ever been as an adult. And I'd also passed an even more momentous benchmark. I was, for the first time in my life, slimmer than Drisha. Yeah. Drisha's pregnant. We're having a baby. So yeah, there are some gimmicks that do help, but the further that I went into this challenge, the more that I kept coming back to one core principle, which is just focus on the basics. Like, the most important thing by an absolute mile is just what food do you put through your mouth? And so I could pretty much summarize the first month of this transformation with
Every night I'm lying in bed here, so hungry, but I think I saw my first ab today. First sign of an ab. So I feel top of the world.
Show us.
I was hungry all the time. I would just sit there next to Drisha in bed while she's munching and I'd be in pain. Or we're out with the entire team. They're eating burgers and I've only got enough calories for a black coffee.
I'm tired of this. I just want pancakes, waffles, and to eat until I'm full. This is hard.
But then I started to learn one of the most important lessons, which is volume eating. Let me show you something. So, okay. That is 400 calories of nuts. This is 400 calories in strawberries. There are a lot of foods, like nuts, for example, that I think it's fair to say are generally considered healthy, but that are actually ridiculously high calorie. Like, I bought this bag of trail mix a while ago, I literally bought it in a health store. I bought it in the section of the store that was specifically foods that are good for you. And all the packaging talks about is the supposed benefits. But you want to see something crazy? If I were to make my entire diet just supposedly healthy dried fruit and nuts like this, then this would be the entire amount of food I could have in a day. That's ridiculous, isn't it? How on earth could you possibly be full? And that's assuming that I'm only drinking plain water too. So if you're trying to lose weight, the best thing that you can do is to find foods that you can eat enough of so that you won't be hungry. Some of my favorites are 0% fat Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, sugar-free jelly, but to be honest, the best one is actually just fresh fruit because of how much water and fiber is in them. And combine multiple of these high volume foods, you've got an entire meal that you can eat to your heart's content.
Bad for a weight loss diet, right?
How many calories is that?
250.
Not every health alternative was a hit, but the more I tried things, the more I realized what I liked, and the better I was able to turn the 300 calories that you get in 3 tiny normal chocolates into things like one giant bowl of jelly trifle that I actually enjoyed. As soon as I realized that I can have an entire box of really sweet, really satiating strawberries for like 65 calories, the same as you get in about 6 tiny cashew nuts or 1 minuscule square of chocolate, I became obsessed with fruit, just trying to find the freshest, juiciest, most exotic flavors of the stuff, which tasted even sweeter with the knowledge that this was actually helping me lose weight. And suddenly, anytime I ended up in another one of those situations where someone's sitting in front of me eating something that I want but I can't have, I was okay. A, because I started to spend most of the day actually full because of all these high volume foods I've been eating, but also B, because if I have to now, I know that I can just pop to a local store and pick up anything in this aisle that I want. This challenge also made me super aware of oil. So what's this? This is 1 egg, right? If I was logging my calories, it would be super easy for me to go onto my app, search for how many calories 1 medium egg has, 66, okay, and then tell myself that that's what I've consumed. But if I did that, I would actually start putting on weight instead of losing it. And I'd have absolutely no idea why. Because this egg also has 30 calories worth of oil in it too, that we used to fry it. Which means A, you always have to remember to count that oil, but also B, if you actually still enjoy the taste of the egg while using less of that oil, then you can literally have up to 40% more food for the same amount of calories. It makes a huge difference. So I think volume eating needs to go on this tier list, and it needs to go on as a straight S. But it was really when I combined that concept with another concept, intermittent fasting, that the weight loss went way beyond what I even thought was possible. So I've been having my last bite of food at around 6 p.m. each evening for the whole journey. But then for the second half, I've also delayed my first bite of food the next day until 12 p.m. lunchtime. So all of my eating happens within these 6 hours each day, which means, yes, I've been hungry in the mornings. I love breakfast, and I've still had to keep up with all the exercise every morning, even without the food. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this was easy, but here's why I still think it's been a game changer. Intermittent fasting means that as soon as you can eat pretty much anything and stay in a calorie deficit. It means you enjoy food like crazy.
Daddy, chill.
And it means when you combine it with volume eating, you will definitely feel full. So while you do have to exert a couple of hours of willpower to get through those mornings, there's something nice about how that's the only willpower needed. Because as soon as the food floodgates open at 12 p.m, you can be completely satiated right up until the next morning, which I think is actually a lot easier than just persistently wanting to eat more food throughout the entire day, but needing to exert consistent willpower to stop yourself. S tier. I couldn't believe the progress. I thought I was going to bottom out at like 78 kilos this challenge. I was now at 75.9, still with time to go. Oh my God. But we should probably talk about the elephant in the room. The entire reason that I'm doing this fitness transformation is because of the Sidemen charity football match. So naturally, a decent chunk of my activity has also come in the form of football training.
Every single morning right now, I wake up and I face my enemy. Cones.
I spent a lot of time over the last few months kicking balls through cones, rain or shine, But let's be honest, mostly rain. I've had blisters, lots of blisters, and also a leg injury. I basically took so many shots at goal one training session that I tore my main shooting muscle. That was bad. It took me 2 weeks of rehab and having to take things painfully slow to get that back up and running again.
It's very frustrating because I've got so much pent-up energy to just go for it, but I can't.
But the best thing I did, notice a bit of a pattern here, by the way, was realize that the most fun that I had playing football was just beating my friends and then turning that into a once-a-week thing I would do without fail. It started off with 5-a-side cage matches, and then we progressed up to a full-on official 11-a-side, which is what the real thing's gonna be. Oh, it's better than when it started. And if you're wondering how our camera person suddenly developed the ability to fly, we actually shot all of it using an anti-gravity A1 drone, our sponsor. We literally had Drisha standing in the corner wearing these goggles. She was having the time of her life.
It's actually really fun.
Because she's seeing the live view from the drone on what looks like a 200-inch screen in front of her. She could just look wherever she wanted by moving her head, point anywhere with this controller, and then hold a trigger to fly in that direction. But here's the kicker. This thing is light enough to be flown basically anywhere without permission, and it records in 8K resolution in 360 degrees. So she didn't even have to once think, I better make sure I'm turning to face Urin. It's all captured. And with the code mrwhosetheboss, this is 20% off with an extra free gift. And there's 2 other pieces that were never far from me while I was footballing. The Spottle, this 2-litre water bottle that's kind of like a progress bar for everything that you need to drink in a day. I'd put it in B tier. It's not the most durable thing. I actually managed to break my handle. But has this allowed me to drink an extra ½ a litre of water per day? Yeah, probably. And that's a pretty valuable thing. And then the AeroFit Elite.
Okay, I think it's fair to say already, this is amazing. I can breathe. I can breathe in a way that I didn't realize I could before.
And it makes it so easy for you because you put it in your mouth and the app dictates to you when to breathe in and out. So you could just be doing your work as usual, but while restricting air to build up your lung strength in this really carefully planned out regimen. The results were noticeable.
You know what's amazing? I don't feel out of breath. But I do a bit. I'm not like dead.
The more I stuck to my habits, the easier everything became. But that brings me to yesterday, because the time had finally come to confirm just how much I'd managed to change. At the very beginning of this transformation, I got a DEXA scan done. I lay on this bed and got told by a machine, in no uncertain terms, that I was overweight. And in case there was any doubt, it even printed me this slightly too detailed image of exactly in what way. I've been waiting to do this for so long. No one said it's easy to shred fat, but I did the scan again. It was pretty good. So in 3 months, we've come down from 21% body fat to 13.2. So we've gone from average all the way past fit and straight to athletic. And then for the visceral fat around my organs, while I was 79th out of an average 100 people at the start, I'm now 15th. I won't lie to you, I had no idea what this scan was going to say about this. So when I saw the number, I actually started tearing up. I've just put so much of myself into this and I can't believe it worked. And it's kind of the same thing for fitness. I did a VO2 max test at the start, which came out as fair. And so I was actually pretty taken aback by the fact that when I just redid that test, I've managed to move all the way from fair past good and straight into excellent. So is 90 days enough to transform your body? Turns out the answer is hell yeah. From 84.6 kilos, I'm all the way down to 72.2, which honestly is beyond my wildest dreams for this. From here to here. And I've learned so much on the way on how to keep myself healthy.
What have you got in your hands?
No.
How many strawberries do you need?
Wine.
Right, see you on the pitch.